Hello, grade 7. Welcome to our fourth and the last video discussion for this first quarter. So please tune in as we are going to discuss about metals and non-metals. At the end of this lesson, we should be able to attain these following objectives. First, describe some properties of metals and non-metals such as luster, malleability, ductility, and conductivity. Second, locate the metals and non-metals in the periodic table. And third, explain the function of some metals in the body. So before we proceed to our discussion proper, let us first have a review of the classification of matter. So in our previous videos and discussions, we discussed about the two classification of matter. Okay, we have mixture and pure substances or pure substance. So under mixture, we have homogeneous and heterogeneous, right? And in pure substance, we have compound and element. And under element, okay, it is divided into three. Actually, that is three. We have metals, non-metals, and the third one is metalloids. Okay, take note of that, metalloids. Everything you see around you is made up of pure substances, either elements or compounds, as its basic component. Okay, so everything around us, everything we see, everything we feel, everything we smell, everything we felt or feel, and everything we taste, those are made up of pure substances. Okay, elements and compounds come in molecules as its basic unit of structure. So these elements and compounds, they form molecules. And when these molecules combine, when these molecules and another molecules and more molecules combine, they form matter. Okay, that is why molecules is the basic unit of structure of matter. Okay, elements are the simplest form of substances. This means that whether or whatever you do with them, it remains to be the same element. Okay, so element or atoms is the simplest form of substances. When we say simplest form, okay, substances are made up of these elements. Okay, when these elements or atoms combine and combine, more elements combine, more different types of elements combine, they form molecules. And then when these molecules combine, they form matter. Okay, so these are the basic unit of matter. It is either elements, compounds, okay, to form molecules. Okay, its physical state may change, but the identity of the element will not. Okay, so the reason why these elements or these substances are called pure, the reason why it is called or it is termed as pure substance, because whatever you do with them, its physical state may change, okay, but the identity or the properties of the element will not. Okay, for example, the gold, the element gold, whatever you do with it, whatever you do with it, it will still be gold. Okay, it will still be gold even if you combine it with other element. The element gold in it is still there. Okay. Another example is water. Water is a combination of water. Water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. So hydrogen, whatever you do with that hydrogen, even if you combine it with other elements like oxygen, okay, the hydrogen, okay, it is still hydrogen. It is still the same separately. Okay? The identity or the characteristics of being hydrogen is still in there. Okay? It doesn't change. Okay? In this module, you will find out more about the elements. You will see that majority of them are metals, while some are non-metals. In addition to these are the metalloids, so-called, because they exhibit properties of both metals and non-metals. So in this lesson, we will discuss about metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Let's proceed to the first activity of this lesson. So please prepare these following materials. We have 2 plastic spoons, copper wire or 1-foot tire wire, okay, hammer, 2x2 nail or any size of nail, and 1 metal spoon. So procedures, number 1, get the plastic spoon and hit its head with a hammer or any hard material. Okay, so kunin ninyo yung plastic na spoon and then i-hammer nyo. Okay, question number 1, what happened to the plastic spoon? Write your observation. So, anong nangyari sa kutsara nung tinamaan mo ng martilyo? Okay, write your observation. Number 2, bend the plastic spoon. Bend the other plastic spoon. Okay, i-bend mo. I-bend mo yung isang plastic na spoon. What happened to the plastic spoon when you bend it? Can you form a heart shape on the plastic spoon by simply bending it? Okay. So, yung number 2 question, anong nangyari sa plastic spoon nung binend mo? And then, maaari ka bang magbuo ng heart shape gamit yung plastic spoon? Okay. Next. Get the copper wire and form a small heart-shaped figure. And then question number 3, are you able to bend it and make a heart-shaped figure? What property of metals is this that allows it to bend and form a different shape? So, dito sa number 3, okay, gagawin nyo sa alambre or sa wire ay i-form nyo siya ng heart shape. And then, the question is, are you able to bend it and make a heart shape? Makakagawa ka ba ng heart shape gamit yung alambre or yung wire? And then, what property of metal is this? Anong property ng metal na kung saan kaya mo siyang i-bend or nagbi-bend siya and then pwedeng bumalik sa dating anyo? Anong property ng metal yon? Is it malleability, ductility, or what? Conductivity, elasticity, what else? Okay. So number 4, get the hammer and nail. Hit the tip of the nail with the hammer as many times as you can until the tip becomes flat. Dito naman, kunin niyo yung martilyo and then yung pako. Tapos, hit the tip of the nail. Okay? Taltalon nyo ajay lansa hanggang sa maging flat yung kanyang tip. Okay? Please be careful. You can ask guidance or assistance from your parents as you do this activity. Okay, question number 4. What are you able to flatten or are you able to flatten the tip of the nail? So, nakaya nyo bang i-flatten yung tip ng nail? What property of metal is this that enables it to be hammered into thin sheath? So, anong property naman ng metal na kung saan pwede mo siyang Tagalog ng pitpitan. Sa Ilocano, kaya mo siyang mabalin mo lang pitpitan. Anong property ng metal yon? Anong characteristic ng metal? Okay, number 5. Once again, hit the nail with the hammer and try to bend it. Okay, try nyo naman na i-bend yung nail. So, are you able to bend the nail? Yes or no? Number 6, hammer the scoop of the metal spoon until it becomes plain and flat. So, this time, get your metal spoon and then imartilyo ninyo yung kanyang scoop. So, please use old spoons, okay? Gumamit kayo ng mga lumang kutsara. And then number 6 question, are you able to flatten the scoop of the spoon? What is the reason why you can easily flatten the metal unlike other materials like rock? Okay, so, nakaya nyo bang i-flatten yung scoop ng spoon? Yes or no? And then, what is the reason why you can easily flatten the metal? Ano kaya yung rason kung bakit mabilis lang na imartilyo and then i-flat or i-flatten yung mga metal, hindi gaya ng ibang materials like rock? No? Ano kaya sa tingin nyo yung reason? Number 7, write down on the table below the properties and characteristics of metals and non-metals based on the activity you made. Okay, so dito naman sa number 7, ilagay ninyo dyan yung mga na-observe ninyo na characteristics ng metal. Okay, so yung mga ginawa natin na activity dyan, or yung gagawin ninyo, I should say, like bending the metal, hammering the metal, what else? Forming different shapes out of metals. Okay, you are going to summarize all the characteristics you have observed and write them on the table. Okay, as well as the non-metals. So in our activity, the plastic spoon is an example of non-metal. So what happened to the plastic spoon when you bend it? Are you able to bend it? Okay, so write it down there. In your earlier grades, you were tasked to segregate objects according to the materials they are made of and practice the 5 R's. So during your elementary grades, your teachers or maybe your parents have already taught you on how to do segregation. Okay? We separate the biodegradable from the non-biodegradable, or we separate the plastics from metals. So with that, we already have an idea what metals are made of or what metals looks like, right? Which objects do you think are made of metals? So if you're going to look around you, which objects do you think are made up of metals? And what made you say that they are metals? Paano mo nasabi na those are metals and those are not? Ano yung basehan mo? What is your basis? So perhaps you have been identifying a metal based on its appearance. Okay, so usually you base the appearance of metal based on its outside appearance. Yes, you base metals according to its appearance. So most of the time, metals are shiny. So usually, the objects that you see are shiny, those are metals. I mean, not all, but most. Okay, most of the materials that are shiny, okay, are usually metals. Okay, they exhibit a luster, which is the reason that they are used as decorations. So luster, yan yung ability ng metal or any material na mag-reflect ng light. Okay, luster is the ability of metals or any material to reflect light. Okay, so take note of that. Ability of a metal to reflect light. Okay, that is luster. The next property of metal is ductility. Many metals are ductile. This means that metals can be made into wires. Okay? An example is copper. the ductility of copper makes it very useful as electrical wires. So when we say ductility, yan yung ability ng metal na kung saan pwede siyang gawing wire. Okay, without breaking. So, when we say ductile, when we use the word ductile, okay, we are describing a metal which has the ability, to be made into thin wires. So, example of this metal, okay, that possess ductility is copper. So, yung copper, makikita natin siya sa loob ng coating ng wire. So, if we are going to take out those rubber coating of wires, kung tatanggalin natin yung mga kulay black or any color ng rubber sa labas ng wire, okay, makikita natin yung copper doon sa loob. And the color is somewhat bronze. Okay. Some metals are malleable. So next property of metal is malleability. This means that they can be hammered or rolled into thin sheets without breaking. Okay? So when we say malleability, yan naman yung ability ng metal na kung saan pwede lang natin siyang i-flatten and then pwede nating i-roll without breaking. So example of this is yung aluminum. Okay? Aluminum foil and then yung lata ng Coke. Okay? Coca-Cola in can, that is made up of aluminum. So as you can see sa lata, it was rolled and hammered into thin sheet. Okay? So that is malleability. And we use the word malleable to describe a metal that is being rolled and hammered into thin sheet. Okay? The next property of metal is magnetic. This means that they are attracted by a magnet. Okay, so we all know that metals are also magnetic. Okay, they can be attracted by a magnet. The common ones are iron, nickel, and cobalt. So usually yan yung mga common metals that are magnetic. Okay, so try putting a magnet in anything you see at home. So, try nyong mag-experiment sa loob ng bahay about magnetic or about magnets. So, try putting a magnet in anything you see at home. Okay. And then, notice kung ano yung mga objects that can be attracted to magnet. Okay. And then, are they all attracted to the magnet? If yes, what metals are these? So, if ever there are things that get attracted to the magnet, okay, what metals are these? So what do you think are these metals? Okay, so the general properties of metals are luster, ductility, malleability, and magnetic properties. Okay, so that those are the 4 common properties of metal. We have luster, that is the ability of metal to reflect light. Okay, usually these are the metals that are shiny. Ductility, that is the ability of metal to be made out into thin wires. Okay? Example of that is copper, yung copper wire. And malleability, that is the ability of metal to be hammered into thin sheet. So malleability, yan yung ability na kung saan pwede lang natin, kung sa Ilocano, pitpitan. Mabaling na pitpitan. Yeah. Okay? And magnetic. Magnetic, okay, yan yung ability naman ng metal na kung saan pwede siyang dumikit sa magnet. Some metals are also good conductors of electricity like copper. Okay, so another property of metal is conductivity. Okay, some metals can conduct electricity and same as heat. Okay. Now, let's proceed to activity 2 of our module. Okay, so materials you will be needing in this activity is the periodic table of element. So, study your periodic table of elements and locate where the metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are. Okay, using the template on the right. So using this template, okay, color the boxes of where metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are located. So what you're going to do here is that you are going to color these boxes, okay, of 3 different colors to locate where are the metals, nonmetals, and metalloids in the periodic table. Okay, so you need to draw this one on your paper. Use orange crayon for metals. So for metals, use orange. Okay, use orange for metals. Yellow for metalloids. Okay, yellow for metalloids. And light green for non-metals. Okay, use light green or any color of green that is light. Okay, for metals. After you color, answer the following questions below. So after coloring the figure, you need to answer the following questions later on. Okay, take note that do not use dark colors. Okay, do not use dark colors. So in our periodic table, where are metals located? Okay, where do you think metals are located in the periodic table? What about non-metals? Saan makikita yung mga non-metals sa ating periodic table? And what about the metalloids? Saan naman sila makikita sa ating periodic table? Okay, guide questions. How many metals are there in the periodic table? How many metals? Ilan ang metals doon sa ating periodic table? How many metalloids are there? How about metalloids? How many metalloids are there in the periodic table? And where is the location of metalloids in the periodic table? Saan yung location ng metalloids sa periodic table? How will you describe the metalloids location in the periodic table? Number 4, how many nonmetals are there in the periodic table? Ilan naman yung mga nonmetals na nandoon sa ating periodic table? Now, let's discuss about metals. Okay, metals are generally lustrous substances that conduct heat and electricity. They are ductile and malleable. Almost all metals are solid and have high melting point except for mercury, gallium, and cesium, which are liquids at room temperature. So these are the characteristics of metals. As we have discussed on our previous discussion, okay, they are lustrous. What else? Ductile and malleable. And also, they conduct heat and electricity. So take note of those common properties of metals. Okay, almost all metals are solid. So usually lahat ng mga metals ay solid except lang sa mercury, gallium, and cesium. Okay? Because at room temperature, sa normal na temperature ng isang room, okay, they are liquid. Mercury is liquid, gallium, and also with cesium. So the location of metals in our periodic table, as you can see in the picture, okay, yan yung mga color blue dyan. Okay, yan yung mga metals. So as you can see, metals dominate the periodic table. Mas madami ang metals. Let's proceed to nonmetals. So nonmetals are not shiny and have varied colors. So metals, unlike metals, okay, they are not shiny and have varied colors. Okay, they are not shiny, most of them, and then they have varied colors, unlike in metals. Unlike in metals. So for example, carbon is black. Okay, sulfur is yellow. Phosphorus is red. Okay, non-metals are poor conductors of electricity and heat. Okay, so yung mga non-metals, no, they do not conduct electricity. Okay? And then, also, they conduct less heat. Okay? That is the reason why nonmetals are good insulators, no? So when we say insulators, they restrict or they stop the transfer of electrical energy and heat energy. Like for example, sa ating wire, yung mga rubber doon, yung rubber coating niya, yun yung kanyang insulator. That is a non-metal. Saka, it makes it safe to touch the wire. Okay? Yan yung reason kung bakit hindi tayo nakokuryente kapag hinahawakan natin yung mga wires. Unless meron siyang open wire. Unless merong cut doon, and then lumalabas yung kanyang metal sa loob, so yun yung delikado. Okay? And then, another example is yung cup. Yung cup. Okay, if we pour hot water on the cup, okay, hindi siya ganun kainit. Kasi nga, since the cup is not a metal, okay, it restricts somehow the transfer of heat energy, or it limits the transfer of heat energy from the hot water. Okay, halimbawa, what if yung tubig, hot water, ilagay natin sa metal cup. Okay, metal cup. Okay, ano yung difference nila? Okay, so kapag metal cup, since that is metal, it conducts heat easily. So, mas mainit yung cup na metal compared sa cup na hindi metal. Okay, so that is conductivity. Non-metals are poor conductors of electricity and heat, while metals, they are good conductors of electricity and heat. So, when it comes to the location of non-metals in our periodic table, okay, yung locations nila is, kung makikita nyo dyan, yung color black. O, yung mga pure black dyan. Yan yung mga non-metals natin sa periodic table. We have hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, phosphorus, chlorine, bromine, xenon, what else? Iodine, helium, selenium. Okay, so those are the non-metals. Last, we have metalloids. Metalloids are elements that are found along the ladder that divides the metals and non-metals. Okay, so metalloids in our periodic table, they are located in a ladder form. Okay, because they look like a staircase. Kung makikita ninyo, para silang mga hagdan. And then, they divide the metals from the non-metals. So, these metalloids are located between metals and non-metals. Okay? They are at the boundary. So, bakit kaya yung mga metalloids ay nandyan? Why is it that they divide or located between metals and non-metals? Okay, it is because metalloids exhibits some properties or characteristics of metals and as well as non-metals. So, meron silang property na the same as metals and also non-metals. Okay, that is why metalloids. For the third activity of our module, click the links, read the articles, and complete the CER table. Okay, so you are going to read the articles from these two links. If you cannot access the links from your PDF copy, please simply long press them and then copy and paste them on your Google Chrome. So kapag hindi nyo po mag-click yung link sa inyong PDF copy ng ating module, pwede nyo silang i-copy and then i-paste sa ating Google Chrome para ma-access ninyo. Okay, so C is for claim. It is your answer to the question. So claim that is simply your answer to the question. How important is the proper intake of essential metals in the body? So that is the question that you need to answer. Okay, gaano ka-importante ang tamang pag-take ng mga essential metals sa ating katawan. Essential metals, yun yung mga metals na kailangan ng katawan. Okay, so ang katawan ay nangangailangan din ng mga metals, no? Like for example, potassium. Potassium is needed for the proper functioning of your nerve cells. What else? Calcium. That is needed for your bones. And then, what else? Okay. Iron. Okay? Your blood needs iron. Okay? So, gaano ka-importante na dapat tama yung pag-take natin ng mga essential metals, no? That is the question. So, your answer to this question will fall under claim. Next, E, evidence. Evidence is providing the proof of the importance of the proper intake of essential metals in the body. So, dito naman sa evidence, maglagay kayo ng mga situations that is related in taking essential metals in the body. Okay, so you are going to indicate some situations wherein it is related on the proper intake of metals in the body. You can also include some advantages and disadvantages. Okay? Disadvantages of taking too much. Okay? Taking too much essential metals. Or taking too low amount of these essential metals in the body. Okay? Lagay nyo dyan yung mga consequences, I should say, the consequences of taking too much and taking too low of these essential metals in the body. And then, reason. Okay? Reason is your justification on your claim and evidence. So, reason, okay, it simply starts with the question, why? Why did you say so? Okay? So, reason, this will conclude your evidence and together with your claim. Okay? Kumbaga, that is the summary of all your claims and evidences or conclusion. Yes. Okay, naintindihan? So that ends our discussion and topics for the first quarter. Okay, here are my references. Contents that were not cited here have no copyright infringement intended. All the contents belong to the rightful owner. Okay, so please review for your first quarter examination. The coverage of your exam will be from Module 1 to Module 4 of our science. So thank you for listening and thank you for tuning in. Good luck and God bless, my dear students.